Hey guys, Garvey here. I just wanted to take today to talk about some of my favorite graphic novels. And this is my first non-film related video. But I feel like graphic novels and film have a lot of similarities. They're both, in their essence, about juxtaposing images. You know, film does it with the edit. Graphic novels do it going from panel to panel and page to page. But I feel like there's a lot of similarities between both mediums. So if you're into movies, maybe you should check out graphic novels. They're really cool, they offer a lot, and I personally enjoy them. I'm doing a top 7.5 favorite graphic novels, because I don't want to do 5, don't want to do 10. So it's in the middle, 7.5 baby. So let's get started. Number 7.5, we're gonna start with pretty wee one, pretty classic, pretty baching. We have V for Vendetta by Alan Moore. I really like the graphic novel. It has a really killer art style, you know, to Alan Moore. So, usual suspect kind of a thing. It looks great, sexy times, you know, government espionage, assassinations, kind of par for the course when it comes with a lot of Alan Moore's work. I honestly love the look of it, probably more than anything. It really feels real, which feels kind of funny because it's a fucking cartoon. But like compared to like something like Watchmen, right? Watchmen kind of has a cartoony aesthetic. Yeah, like it's really over the top. It's kind of gory. There's a lot of blood, but this just has kind of a subtler, almost monochrome kind of look. It's not nearly as colorful as some of his other work, which I really dig it. I think it's an absolutely fantastic book and doesn't get as much respect as it deserves. I think mainly because of the meme boys with their Guy Fawkes anonymous sort of, you know, cringe fest or whatever. But I think it's really good. And also the movie wasn't good, allegedly. I haven't seen it. So I think that also turned a lot of people off. But the graphic novel is top. Number 7.5 on the best graphic novels, of all time. All right, so for number 7, this one I think is the newest completed novel on the list. That being Persepolis by Marjane Satrapi. Yes, Satrapi. I'm so sorry if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. Yet again, I just love the art style. That's one of the biggest things for me. Very good graphic novel is it has to look killer. It has to look cool. A good story, it's cool. Cool characters, that's cool too. But I need some visual moa, and this one looks great. It's all black and white, you know, which might turn some people off, but I think it actually fits the graphic novel extremely well, and it just has this very sort of simplistic look to it. And actually, I think this was Marjane's first graphic novel. I think she was sort of a graphic designer, so it makes sense why there's such a kind of a simplistic, flat look to it. You know, and I mean that in the most complimentary way imaginable. And pretty much the book is based on a true story. Marjane pretty much was born and raised in Iran, and she now lives in France. But she pretty much grew up during the Iranian Revolution. It kind of proposes this alien lifestyle that someone living as a comfy American or a comfy whoever, you know, living in any sort of first world country wouldn't even imagine. Sort of having to hide your hobbies in a lot of ways, like you couldn't party or drink at all. You know, you couldn't go out at night. It was sort of a very restrictive time. And she just sort of portrays the whole of her youth. It is sort of a coming of age story, which I'm kind of a sucker for. I like a lot of those. And it's sort of her unique perspective in this kind of very unique scenario. And also it's almost like an epic because it takes place over the course of like 20 years. So it's a very winding tale, but it's also it's very simple too. So yeah, number 7, Persepolis. If you're trying to get into graphic novels, this is a great way to start. I think it's very approachable. I think anyone could read this and enjoy it. And you know, it's a pretty quick read. It looks kind of thick, but it's all pictures. All right, number 6. This one's pretty classic, and I think a lot of people are gonna kill me for not making this number 1. But that is The Dark Knight Returns by Frank Miller. And you know, when people talk about their favorite Batman comics, it's either this one or The Killing Joke. Killing Joke is cool, but I feel like this one ascends it in every conceivable way. Don't crucify me for it. I just like this one a lot. It has one of the most unique sort of styles. But yeah, as everything, it's like old ass Batman, dystopian future, Superman. He fights Superman, which is sick. Batman rides on a fucking horse. Like, what else do you fucking need to know? It's sick. And I'm really kind of just, I don't even know what to say about it. It's just such like, it's Batman, baby. And it's Batman at his best. So if you have any interest in Batman at all, this is the Batman comic to get. All right, number 5. If you guys were mad at me for not putting Dark Knight Returns at number 1, I'm gonna get crucified for this next one. That being Watchmen by Alan Moore. I know. What the fuck? You're telling me it's not number 1, baby? No, it's good. I love this. It's fucking great. I was the comedian for a school dance one year. And I love this fucking comic. It's sick. It's just like a very deep, intertwining tale. You know? There is fucking conspiracy. Kind of like talking about V for Vendetta. Conspiracy, betrayal, and something about the graphic novel. I don't know if it's because it's so fast-paced. Because, like, you could read this whole fucking thing in a day and be done with it. They're just really good at having that kind of intertwining narrative without getting totally lost and being concise about it. You know what I mean? Like, you could read Game of Thrones and it's like equally as like entwined, or more so. It's more so entwining. But it would take you months to read the whole thing and you'd fucking forget half the shit. Like, I don't even know what they're talking about. But graphic novel, read in a day and it's like, oh, so-and-so did this, and that, and the other thing. And I feel like Watchmen's one of the best of that. The art style is iconic, you know. It's kind of a bit more cartoony than V for Vendetta. Personally, I think I like the look of V for Vendetta more. But this one also has its place in sort of the pantheon of comics. Which there is a lot of dialogue in this one. So if you're not a dialogue heavy guy, then you might not be into it. The best part, and this is gonna be a spoiler, so just skip ahead 10 seconds. Favorite panel of all time. And I'm not memeing. I actually love this panel. And I think about all the fucking time. Whenever I find a really just more piece of art, a movie, or a book, or whatever, I literally think about it all the fucking time. And of every comic I've read, one of the panels I always think about is at the very end when, you know, Ozymandias, his plan is, you know, completed and come to fruition and was a success. And he's talking about Dr. Manhattan and he's like, oh, so, you know, was it worth it? Because, you know, Dr. Manhattan's a fucking god king and he can like see the future. So it's like, you know, Dr. Manhattan, was it worth it? You know, is it gonna, you know, will everything turn out for the best in the end? And right here, in the middle, Dr. Manhattan just says, in the end, nothing ends, baby. And then he just fucking vanishes. It's fucking classic. I love that panel so much. I don't know why it clicks with me, but it's honestly one of my favorite panels of all time. It's so simple. It's just a little, like, fucking 1 by 2 inch little square. And something about it just resonates with me so much. But yeah, that's Watchmen. All right, baby. Number 4, Dragon Ball. Preferably Z. I haven't read the original Dragon Ball manga. I know. I'm a loser. But Z is just, it's just genius, you know what I mean? Like, the artwork by Toriyama is just gold. It's pure gold. Especially these full color ones, which they're still coming out in the States with these. They just finished up the Frieza saga. But like, I could just pick a random page. Right, boom, random page. Look how good that looks. It is just so crisp. That's like the best way to say it. And it's just so, and it's the way he sort of organizes the panels and the way your eyes move around the page is just very smooth, easy on the eyes. And I think Toriyama, in terms of just enjoyment, he sort of organizes his artwork in the most enjoyable way. Because it's a very kind of lateral motion going from one action to the next. You're never like, oh wait, where am I? Because a lot of manga, especially manga, because you have to read it backwards. So for, you know, an American asshole like me, I'm like, wait, what am I supposed to look at? You know, I'll read it backwards all the time. But something about Toriyama, just the way he sets it up, it just makes so much sense. You're never confused where to look. It's just like boom, 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 boom. It's fantastic. It's just such a iconic story. It's funny. It has action. It has drama. People die. People come back to life. It's just sick. All right, baby. Top 3. This is where the men become the boys. Number 3, only graphic novel to win a Pulitzer Prize. At least I know of. That being Mouse. If you don't know Mouse, pretty much the best way to describe it is it's the Holocaust, but instead of Jews, it's mice. Instead of Germans, it's cats. And the Americans are dogs. I think it's pretty sick. In my opinion, I think it's one of the greatest pieces of Holocaust literature ever made, you know? And I feel like the Holocaust sort of enraptures a lot of artists and galvanizes them, because a big part of art is trying to find some understanding in facets of life that logical interpretations are ununderstandable. So I think there's so much like people trying to like grasp what the Holocaust was and everything like that. And I think nothing has come closer than this. And maybe even all of the Holocaust work, whether it's movies or books or whatever. So if you have any interest or anything really to Holocaust literature, you gotta pick up Maus. And what's so interesting about Maus that I have not seen anywhere else, so it's written by Art Spiegelman, who did not go through the Holocaust at all, but his father did. And there's this extremely kind of interesting narrative with how he feels so guilty for not having God. Like his father went through the most traumatic and horrific thing of all time, and he's just like some fucking dude. A lot of it is him trying to grapple with it, and I think that sort of adds a layer of relatability, you know? Because when you read something that's like a first-hand perspective, you can't even understand what they're talking about. You know, it's like, oh yeah, we just starved for weeks on end and all that stuff. And it's just so unfathomable to even imagine that. But with Art Spiegelman, it's close enough, but not too close that it's more digestible, and I think adds a lot to the sort of discussion of the Holocaust. Now, the artwork, also black and white, and I think it's another really simple kind of a look. Kind of like, this actually reminds me a lot of Persepolis. So if you read Persepolis, pick a Maus. If you've read Maus, I'd pick a Persepolis. It really is just fantastic. I love this graphic novel. I picked it up in New York, and I read it all in one day, even though I was like on vacation, supposed to do other stuff, because I was just so enraptured by it. I love this thing to death. Even if you don't give a fuck about comics, read Maus. It has a Pulitzer Prize, so maybe that'll, you know, tootle your fancy, as they say from where I'm from. I love Maus. Third greatest graphic novel of all time. This is number 2, where the men become girls. This might shock you what my number 2 is. That being Akira. And I'm sure you've seen this in literally every video I've made. It's always in the background, it's hanging out. Akira. You got Kaneda on the bike. Honorable mention is Bakura. If you like Akira, you need to get Bakura. It's The Simpsons, but Akira. And it's probably the single funniest fucking thing I've ever read. Millhouse is Tetsuo, Bart is Kaneda. What else has to be said, baby? 10 out of 10. Best graphic novel of all time. All right, back to Akira. This thing's fucking heavy. 6 volumes, and the movie's great. I love the movie. It's one of the best movies of all time. But personally, I think the graphic novel is better than the movie. I struggle with that a lot. I really do. I go back and forth a lot. And just to give you sort of a perspective, I think they made the movie, which if you haven't seen the movie, watch the movie, then read the graphic novel, just so you have kind of more of an idea. They made the movie around volume 2. So there's 4 more volumes of shit that happens. And I think they just go to such a cool place with it. And it's sci-fi, it's dystopian. You know, if you like Blade Runner, pick up Akira. And it's just, I can't say anything else other than it's Akira. You know, it's so Akira. Like, whatever you want to say. I say Akira because I'm a weeaboo, I guess. This is all I can say. Sci-fi, psychic powers, destroyed Tokyo, and laser beams. If that's not fucking cool, then I don't know what is, okay? So, please do yourself a favor, pick up Akira. They just came out with this whole collection thing, which I think is worth its weight in gold. I love this thing. All right, number 1. Where the girls become dudes. And you might be thinking, Lucas, what the fuck? Watchmen, V for Vendetta, Akira. What the fuck is number 1? Well, it's simple. No contest. Number 1 is Berserk by Kintaro Miura. Did I say that? Miura. Please, don't crucify me. I don't know how to pronounce shit. I can barely speak English. Warning. Berserk's really fucked up. There's a lot of gore and fucked up shit. So if you're kind of sensitive to that, avoid it at all costs. If you don't give a fuck, check it out. It's a medieval fantasy with demons, starring Guts. He runs around and fucking chops dudes in half. And there's a lot of sort of nihilistic philosophies throughout the entirety of the manga, which I like. I think it's pretty sick. But really, and the story's cool. It's a long fucking epic over the course of like a decade. He's been working on it since the 80s. It's been going on for like 4 decades in real life, you know, and there's just constant hiatuses. There's 39 volumes. So yeah, so what does Berserk have? It's a long, intertwining story, which I fucking love. Pretty much every fucking graphic novel I mentioned is this long, sprawling narrative. I didn't mention anything that was like the shortest one I mentioned was Dark Knight Returns. So I'm a big fan of the long epics. So that's cool. The philosophy in it, it's pretty fucking cool. But what fucking makes Berserk, I keep fucking showing the back. What makes Berserk so goddamn cool is the artwork. And a lot of people have this, I feel like there's this kind of narrative that the artwork is the least important thing and it's totally just whatever. For any graphic novel, that story is paramount. And story's cool, but the artwork has to be tight. It's a visual medium, the visuals have to be cool, and they have to juxtapose with each other well. And Berserk is the most fantastically well-drawn thing I have ever read. Ever. Like, the amount of detail Miura crams into a single panel could blow your fucking mind. And there's a couple in particular that I'll flash up. That'll give you an idea of just how insane the detail is. And even early on, the first volume, it's pretty fucking good, you know? But as the decades go on and Miura hones his craft, he becomes a fucking super god. You know, you get to like volume 14 and shit. He's like a genius at this point. It's the best manga, best graphic novel, and best comic of all time. Berserk is really fucked up. Like, if you've seen Game of Thrones, it's literally that times 1,000. So, you know, just be careful. If you have any sensitivity to anything like that, avoid at all fucking costs. So yeah, guys, that's been my top 7.5 favorite graphic novels of all time. I would love suggestions down below because, you know, I don't do as much research into finding new graphic novels as I should. So if I've heard Vagabond is sick, I've been really wanting to check that out. If there's anything you felt that I missed that I should have mentioned, let me down below. Like and subscribe for more videos like this. Mainly film, but hey, who knows? If a lot of people like this video, maybe I'll do more videos on graphic novels. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.